Smoking Christensen Arms CA-15 Recon from the dirt. Nutnfancy, 35 yards. Rocks. That is a $3,000 AR-15 on the reviewing table. With the mount and the glass, dudes, you're looking at about a $4,000 setup. Yep, 4K. That is some serious coin. And if you've ever wondered, perhaps, how a $3,000 AR-15 looks up close in detail, perhaps wondered how it performs, does it live up to its hype, you have come to the right place. Hey guys, this is Nutnfancy running the Nutnfancy project year 3. Awesome! Welcome to the tabletop review of the very impressive, I'll just say it right out, Christensen Arms CA-15 Recon. Had an opportunity to hook into this gun, I jumped at it. Impact Guns called me up. They said, hey, Nutnfancy, do you want to hook into some CAs, Christensen Arms guns? We'll transfer them to you. You do what you do best, testing them, running gun, all that stuff. Do a review. I was like, right on. I'm totally up for it. I won't hold back if there's some negative stuff, though. I always say that, right? They're on board. So is CA. They're totally on board. They're like, hey, bring it. We are very confident in our product, and that's exactly what I want to hear from the manufacturers. Thanks goes out to Impact Guns, Alan in specific up there in Ogden. Awesome. About, I don't know, several months running multiple hundreds of rounds through the CA-15. I have a lot of data to share with you guys about the gun. Perhaps you're interested in buying the CA-15. I'm going to answer probably a lot of your questions. I'm going to go tip to stern in detail, showing you the makeup, the components of the gun. I'll talk about the value, of course, we have to. I will give my take, my opinion on whether it is worth it. And I will tell you the long and short of the testing process. Let's go to it. Lots of details to share. Philosophy of use. I am not going to spend a lot of time on this. Oh, let me give some ground rules as usual. I'll probably get some details wrong, may skip some. I forget. It is a lot doing a very thorough and detailed review on any tactical carbine. I do the best I can. I apologize if I get some stuff wrong. I'll annotate if it's like egregious. You know how that goes. Okay? And don't read into it either. Some of the TMPers, guys who support me, my friends around the world, thank you, by the way. This is one of the first ARs that I'm reviewing. Don't say, well, he's only into high-end ARs. Actually, like I said, the opportunity jumped out. I had to take advantage of it. If I had my way, I would have a lot of high-value AR-15s reviewed, although there is a lot of similarity between the brands. I'm talking like Bushy, Rock River, and stuff. Let's get to it. Philosophy of use. Obviously, a defensive carbine. Christensen Arms in Gunnison, Utah. And by the way, I just got done reviewing their Carbon Extreme 2 bolt gun. Extremely impressive, very lightweight. Loved it. They're primarily a hunting outfit, but they are branching out into law enforcement and tactical products. This is one of them, the Recon. Okay, that obviously is its role, a defensive maybe if you're an LE, military, or in certain situations, offensive role. Enough said on that, right? Recreational. This one is specifically chambered in 223. Other calibers currently offered as of 2011, you've got 204, 223, that's this one, 223 Wild, 6.5 Grendel, 6.8 SPC. You can get it in 5.56 as well. Okay, so pick your caliber, and that will really drive to philosophy of use. What are you going to use it for? Like if you go 6.8 SPC, it could be a good deer gun in certain locales if it's legal. It could be purely recreational, just punching holes in paper, tactical shooting. If you're a 3-gun competitor, I think it would be an excellent choice. Great 3-gun option, and it's kind of special, second kind of cool we're talking. So it could be recreational. That's basically philosophy of use. Of course, we could throw in home defense, all the other stuff I've talked about before. That's all I'm going to say on that. Innovation, design, materials, and quality. Let's start at the muzzle, go towards the stock. I'm going to show you, tell you what I know, and I'll show you in great detail, oopsie, what we got going here. How about a titanium muzzle brake? I love it. Usually I'm very picky on my muzzle devices, on my ARs. I like them to look a certain way. I like them to do a certain thing. Notice it's closed in the bottom. Made of titanium, and it's keeping in theme with a very lightweight capability of the CA-15 Recon. Not scalloped edges, but I don't know if I'd want to get pushed against with this thing. I'm talking about using it as a force impact tool. I love it. Worked out really good too. Did it mitigate recoil? Not really. Not that I noticed. Maybe I'm not the best judge of that. Here we get to the heart and soul of all things Christensen arms, and that is the barrel design. Match grade stainless steel liner wrapped in their own carbon fiber, or CF as I call it. The liner I think is Magellan, and this one wears a 1-9 twist because it is chambered in 223. I did find in my shooting that it was a very stable bull barrel performer. When I'm talking bull barrel, I mean that you can do extended shooting with it and have minimized heat stringing. I will say I did experience some heat stringing, yes, even with this setup. I'll show you in accuracy what I'm talking about. I just don't think, even though this is a very thermally stable setup, it is not perfect. And is it better than steel? I think I talked about this in the Carbon Extreme 2 review. Probably, as far as the thermal properties go. More thermally stable, and I found that it cools down faster than steel, of course. So, and you know, if you go to the Christensen Arms website, they'll tell you all about that. Very pleased with the barrel setup. So basically you're getting a, here we go with weight, 6-pound, 14-ounce bull barrel AR-15. That's an important distinction, by the way. We're talking bull barrel. It's easy to get our weight down on an AR-15 if we go with what seems to be vogue these days, and that is a pencil-barreled AR. That's great for, you know, some shooting here and there, but if I go extended shooting, I know there's lots of opinions on this. I kind of like to have that bull barrel. Although, you know, some of the M4 profile barrels and such, guys will say, hey, I do mag dump after mag dump. Practically speaking, you'll see no POI and point of aim shift. Understood, I should say point of impact shift on that. I love the barrel, great job. That takes us to the gas system. It's a proprietary unit. It reminds me of the Adams Arms one. 12 o'clock is full open. If we were to be looking directly at the gun, this position here, 1 o'clock, is suppress fire or reduce gas position. This one is you close it completely off. You depress the plunger and just rotate it, and it's very easy to do. Takedown position, right there on the right. Piston comes out like that, and then I could tilt it forward and the whole piston comes out. I am struck, by the way, by the ease of takedown of this system. I love it. It's excellent. I have done some reviews on piston guns already. More to follow, no doubt. This is one of the best piston systems I've found. Love it. Cleans easily, and just like I said in my piston versus DI dilemma video where I talk philosophically, my views, and by the way, haven't changed too much. You know, piston gun versus a direct impingement gun. We're transferring all the heat up here. We've taken it out of the bolt carrier group. It's all up here, guys. But I have noted in a lot of shooting on the CA-15, I like how this vents. It's not very dirty. If it was, I haven't noticed it. And nor did I notice that this whole area got so hot that I couldn't handle it. I've seen that a lot with some other guns. Maybe the Ruger SR556 would be a good reference point. Notice how the gas block is pinned to the barrel. It is screwed with Allen head screws right there, and it's also pinned to the stainless steel insert, barrel insert I'm talking. Very nice. There's a proprietary carbon fiber handguard. Do you dudes notice anything that's pretty much awesome about it? Look how narrow. 40 millimeters in width for my European friends. 40 mm? Dudes, that is very slim. I love slim handguards. It's something I've been pushing for a couple of years now. And by the way, I'm going to roll this in now. Kind of a reality check during the testing process on the CA-15. Also running at the same time, separate tabletop, LWRC M6A2. That is really a good cross-reference. And I shot these two side by side. It's an outstanding piston gun. It has a lot going for it. It's super, I shouldn't say superior, but it's superb quality. But we're talking about handguards. Look how wide compared to the CA-15. That is a downside of the LWRC this generation. Things are always subject to change. I'll talk more about the M6A2 as we go along. Love the handguard of this unit. Very slim. I wish this bottom Picatinny rail was removable. You're stuck with it in the current version. And I told CA that. I was like, you should make that removable, because in my philosophy of use, I mean, I might be running a VG down here in my testing. I did not. I would love to just make this clean so there's no obstructions at all. I guess they have some side rails that you can attach more stuff. You need lights. You have VG down here. You want to throw your light on side. This is always my preferred position, by the way, for the light on the left side. That's about the only downside on the CF. I find it very tough. I banged it around a bit. I didn't have any problems with that. I don't think it'll unravel with you or do anything funky like that. And I didn't notice any heating problems. Again, I didn't really do like extended mag dump after mag dump, and that's really where you would test your handguard. I'm talking like run 3 30-round mags through your AR-15 and then see how hot it is up here. I didn't do that. One reason is ammo. Another reason, the gun's on loan. I didn't want to thrash it to that degree. Don't know how stable it is rotationally. Some handguards have a very good system of tying into the receiver, so if you torque it with a VG, like I'm down here and I'm really torquing it left and right, not intentionally, but just under run and gun or defensive encounters, you don't twist your handguard. I would suppose they have it pretty squared away. Looking at it, examining it, it looks pretty squared away. Love the CF handguard. Guys might not like the looks of it too. Overall, by the way, the gun is very good looking. Very handsome. That takes us to the receiver. 7075 T6 billet. Nothing special there. There's lots of guns that use that material. That's a mil-spec aluminum. It is excellent. This one features an extremely large case deflector and the forward assist. Still don't know why we're putting those in the ARs. When's the last time you used a forward assist? It's kind of a holdover from mil-spec. I just adds weight, adds bulk. Don't dig it so much. The profile receiver is fine. Don't have any issues with it. There's no what am I trying to say? Serrations on the magwell forward. Some of the higher end AR-15s will feature some type of, I don't know, traction up there. I don't really care. I can add skateboard tape there if I need it, and I don't need it. Ambidextrous safety. I found that kind of obnoxious. But lefties, you may like the CA-15 because it has a lot of features that are truly ambidextrous. This is one of them. Lefty safety. Check this. Huge bolt release paddle from Wilson Combat. Okay, it does have kind of an interesting mix of different components, and again, all this may change as time goes on. There's an ambidextrous mag release right there. You can release it on that side or the gated side right there. Pretty sick. Notice the takedown pins. With their flanges, you don't need a tool, you just pull them. Okay? I'll show you that in a second. Actually, I'm going to show you that right now. Usually I don't like taking the guns down all the way. One, they get the table greasy. Two, it takes video time. I'm going to try to do this fast because I want to show you the interior. And if you're in the market for this gun, it'll be kind of cool for you. First up, let's take a look at the bolt carrier. Pull this out. Like that. For my estimation, this is an M16, okay, did I say it right? M16 style bolt carrier. The extended portion back here, it is heavier, protected firing pin, there you go. Again, very reminiscent of Adams Arms gas systems, which, by the way, is a very good thing. They put together some very squared away systems. The coating on this is also pretty special. Nickel boron. High lubricity, big word. Looks good too. Better wear, corrosion resistant. There's a Christensen Arms logo on there. Don't have to worry about a gas key because this is a monolithic bolt carrier. See how that's milled into it, one piece? You know, in our DI guns, we got to make sure that those screws don't come undone, that they're properly staked, whatever. There's some skis on the back to prevent carrier tilt. If you don't know what I'm talking about, when we get our gas rod impinging upon this face right here, you can get tilt in a piston gun and it can rub. Let's take a look at the CA-15 if we got any carrier tilt after hundreds and hundreds of rounds. I see none, and I've already looked at it. I've inspected it, and I watched that during the testing phase. Hey, is this jacked up? Is it tilted? Nope. And honestly, for the price level, I would expect it. I would expect it to be a very squared away design. Regular AR-15 bolt, nothing special there. I don't know if it's like, you know, has all the special stuff. I'm talking HPT, MPI, shot peened. I just don't know. Here's your charging handle. This is an Arma Dynamics model ACLM, I believe. It's notable because it's a fully ambidextrous charging handle. It has some Teflon inserts in it. You do a straight pull on this sucker, you don't have to actuate this side. All you gotta do is pull it, it'll come back. I kind of wished it had an extended portion right here, a la BCM, maybe Badger Ordnance. So with an optic, I can grab it easier. It doesn't. I liked it though. Let me put the gun together, and actually before I do that, let me show you this trigger. And this is a good thing. Timney trigger inside. By the way, I love it. 3 pounds, very little creep, very crisp let off. That Timney trigger is just a dream, and it's one of the reasons the gun shot so well in both tactical drills and off the bench. Let me put the gun back together, be right back. By the way, the fit between the upper and lower receiver on the CA-15, perfection. No movement or slop noted at all. You won't have to slam in an AccuWedge in the lower receiver to tighten things up. And again, that's exactly what I would expect for an AR-15 at this price point. So, but I'll say overall, the CA-15 is very impressive in fit and finish. It just is. It seems like a very high-end AR. I don't care what you're looking at, the gas system to the CF handguard. You get inside, you're looking at it, the bolt carrier, you know, the finishing on the receiver itself, the smoothness of the gun really struck me as I was shooting it. I mean, this thing runs like, I don't know, a machine. An expensive machine. Swiss watch, maybe. Eclectic blend of components, no doubt. We got the Wilson Combat bolt release. There's the extended mag pull trigger guard. By the way, I love those. Then we have a Hogue grip in this current version. Probably everything subject to change. CTR stock. By the way, those are one of my overall favorites. It's not too heavy, very ergonomic, easy to adjust. You go with some other mag pull options, they just get too heavy for me. Watch the weight on your gun. I don't care what kind of gun, AR you're running. It's really easy to turn into a 11-pound boat anchor, if you know what I mean. Love the CTR stock. Incidentally, that is a mil-spec diameter buffer tube. I measured it at 1.148 in diameter. So if you do get sick of the CTR stock, there you go. This should have a sling tie-in point right there, and it should be at least on the left side, perhaps ambidextrous, since the gun has a lot of features which are ambi. I'm talking the safety and the charging handle. That should come with this gun right here. All kinds of variations, you know, you can do with all the brands that are on this gun now. Might as well throw, I don't know, let's broaden it out. Throw Daniel Defense, you know, sling tie-in plate there. There you go. That's a rundown of the components. They're very high end, they're put together right, they all work well together. That takes us to reliability and durability. The real test of this, I guess I can get rid of this target now, I'm done with playing with greasy parts. The real test, of course, would be a very long-term test, thousands of rounds, probably taking it through several 3-gun competitions. No doubt, that's not what you're getting here. you are getting several hundred rounds fired through the CA-15, and in that I had one failure to feed. It was with PMC ammo. It was a failure to extract and to feed, and it was, I can't remember if it was out of this mag. It was with a P mag. That's kind of a bad thing in my opinion because it's brass case ammo and it's pretty high quality. I've had very good luck with PMC, FMJ out of all the other tactical carbines I've run. And by the way, just like every every AR-15 piston variety, it does not like steel. Haven't seen one yet, a piston gun that will run that Wolf or whatever you want, Russian steel ammo. It doesn't work. The reliability overall was very good. I wouldn't call it outstanding because of that. And also I had several failures to lock open on an empty magazine. I think even with a magazine that you're looking at, the 20 round PMag, which came with the gun. And then other magazines I tried instantly. Brownells, I think that locked open well. This is kind of an enhanced GI magazine, enhanced follower in that. It's a workhorse in TMP. 30 round, I forget which Gen PMag this is. I think these failed to lock open. It was kind of hit and miss though. Then when I went to the range last week and I was trying it, it locked open last shot every time. Okay, is that a big issue? Well, it just depends. Generally, it is kind of with me. A tactical carbine should lock open last shot. Definitely. It's a big deal. Don't know why. It's probably magazine related. I would say very good with reliability. Maybe on into the excellent, considering how many rounds I shot out of the Recon here. Another thing you want to think about when we talk about durability of a piston system, this is just me, is the durability of the piston spring on the inside. Okay, I know some other manufacturers, LWRC, LMT, they put a lot of research into that piston spring. I'm not going to take this apart to show you, but if that fails on you, your gun's toast. I don't know what type of tests they've conducted, you know, if this is Adams, don't know. I do know the Adams spring will fit, I think they're around $5. So I would probably have a couple of those in your retro kit or your parts kit if you're running a gun or the CA-15. In my experience, I had no failures at all. I think durability of the gun will last and last and last. I have no issues at all or any concerns about the barrel either, about wear out. You know, I kind of talked philosophically in the bolt gun review about the durability of these barrels, these carbon wrap barrels, and from what I can gather, they are better than steel. Mainly because they cool down quicker. They're more efficient at dissipating heat. Okay, so there you go. There's a data point. Reliability, durability, excellent. Let's go on into accuracy. I'm going to take you back to July 2011 when I did this. By the way, I generally don't like sending boutique ammo out of these guns because I don't think most guys will run that. When I'm talking boutique ammo, I guess I should say, I'm talking really expensive stuff that all the gun riders use, that they get comped, you know, the Hornady stuff. Occasionally I'll do that, and the plot will thicken here in a second. But let's look at this. This is regular PMC bronze ammo, 55 grain, this stuff right here. I'm always interested in see if these high-end guns, or forget it, any AR-15, how it shoots with regular ball ammo. Here you have it. 5 round groups, 1.6 inches is 100 yards, 2.5 inches, not very impressive, 2.25 inches, 2 inches. By the way, this is what an average AR-15 shoots. It is, I've told you guys that. It doesn't, you know, the 1 inch AR-15, in my testing with this kind of ammo, that's a very important point, that's what you see. Then I threw in some 75 grain Hunting Shack HPBT, this stuff right here. I got to tell you, I have not been overly impressed with this ammo. This is 5.56 ammo, and yeah, I'm shooting it out of a 223 barrel. No issues. I guess 223 has less free bore than 5.56. They say not to do that. I haven't had an issue. Let's see, CA-15 Recon, 100 yards. This is with that HSM ammo. I said it was AMAX. It's really not AMAX. 2 1/4, not good. There's a 1.3 inch group. Oh, come together. 1.5 inch, 1 1/4. 3.75. It's horrible. Out in the desert. This is also in July. This is American Eagle. This stuff right here. This is kind of the heart and soul of the CA-15, isn't it? The accuracy, because on the webpage it claims itself to be a half MOA gun. Okay, this is shooting American Eagle 2 3/4 inch group. By the way, this is, well, I guess on this one I was off that wiggly polymer table with that MTM polymer rest. It's pretty stable, but I'm not going to say it's the best. I couldn't go prone where I was. It's just not doable on the hillside. 1.5 inches. I'm actually very happy with that. Shooting rack grade ammo. 1 1/4. That's smoking. 1.75 inches. Okay. When I was shooting this, I was getting the feel that this gun is very accurate. And I really wasn't happy with the groups I was getting, to be honest with you. I knew I could do more. By way of reference, here's that M6A2. Remember I told you it's kind of a, you know, a check as we go along in testing. 55 grain American Eagle. I don't want this to be about the LWRC, but I want to show you the groups. In the same container, there's a Kel-Tec group in there. We'll get to that later. Sub 2000. LWRC, there you go. Not super great. Here's another LWRC. Throwing down a 3/4 inch group with rack grade HSM ammo. Hope you're not getting bored. 2.75. 3 inches. Okay, so it's basically shooting the same weight as a CA-15 under those conditions. This is out in the desert. Actually, I forget where that one is. I think it was. Okay. Then I'm saying we got to get better with this. Let's try it again. PMC 55 grain CA-15. It's a nice group. Probably about an inch. I measure these ones. American Eagle 55 grain. It really didn't like that ammo too much. It seems like it slung it out. PMC, that's 3 rounds. That's a half MOA group right there, brethren. 75 grain, that's not AMAX again, that's that boat tail ammo. That's about a 1 inch group. American Eagle, again, didn't like it. There you go. HSM, didn't like that. Haven't seen a gun yet that likes that stuff, actually. And it's expensive ammo. I'm never buying it again, like ever. Good group with PMC. Here we go. I finally tuned it up, said, man, I've got to get some better ammo. See what this thing can do. This is what I dialed in with. 2 loads, 69 grain Sierra Match King, and also 55 grain Nosler. Expensive ammo. Let's see how it shoots this. Oh, daddy like. There you go. That's a CA-15. That's this month. Is actually last week. That's a 55 grain Nosler. It really liked it. Keep in mind this is a 223 board gun. 1 and 9 twist. That's one reason perhaps it's not slinging that 75 grain HSM so well. Whoa, dude. 0.3 MOA. Half MOA. By the way, I inherited this target, so I can't claim that. Whoever's shooting that did very well. And then, I think this is all 55 grain Nosler. Excellent. Basically half MOA. Validated. Christensen Arms says it's a half MOA gun, and it is. Perhaps not with this stuff. No one can make that claim. I don't care what AR-15 you're shooting. You're not going to shoot this stuff in half MOA. If I can get 1.5 MOA, maybe really I'd be stoked with 1 MOA. With this stuff, this kind of ammo, it's a hard thing to do. I'm all over it. I would say accuracy on the Christensen Arms CA-15, superb, excellent. Actually firepower. Not much to say about that. It's an AR-15. I got a 20 mag in there. Go with the 30s, of course. You can throw in a beta mag, whatever. It's standard AR-15 firepower. You guys know that. Weight, balance, and feel. Balance overall with that lightweight CF barrel up top. I just love it. I really do. It was a joy running and gunning with the CA-15. An absolute joy. It's a heavy-barreled AR-15 that weighs 6 pounds, 14 ounces without optics, of course. Incidentally, if you've seen it in video, in the intro, or wherever, I'm going to slam it in. This is some pretty expensive glass, at least for the Nutnfancy project. That is a Vortex 6-24-50 Viper. That's an outstanding scope. And the reason I put that on, and by the way, those really tight groups was shot with that, is because initially I was running this scope on there just because I had it handy. Weaver RV9. But you know, some guys will say, oh, you can't get accurate with a Weaver scope. That's not true. I actually didn't see any increase in accuracy from this scope to that scope. They both shot very accurate. Granted, this is 9 power. That's 24 power. On that level, yeah, there is a difference, but this is still a high value scope. But what I'm saying is I put the very expensive scope on there, so there's no out. So guys can say, well, the reason you didn't shoot accurate or you didn't get better groups because of the glass. Well, there you go. So we're running $1,000 glass right now. How's that? Weight, balance, and feel, excellent. Ergonomics, we pretty much covered from the tip on down, right? controls, grip, stock, operation, excellent. By the way, I do like that enlarged Wilson Combat handle. Field strip is standard AR-15. I talked a little bit about field stripping the piston, and it's pretty quick. Easy gun to take care of. I mean, that is an advantage of the piston system, that you're not going to have hardly any fouling at all here. And you have that NIB coated bolt carrier, which makes it even more so. This is a piece of cake to keep clean. Field strip and maintenance, excellent. Accessories. One thing I didn't mention is they have a 20 to 24 inch barrel version of the CA-15. They call it the Predator. Okay, and you can get that chambered again in those same calibers. I'm talking 204 or 223, or different chamberings of 223 like 223 Wild, which instantly I'd probably go with. 5.56, 6.5 Grendel, 6.8 SPC, on and on. That probably will shoot even more accurately than the CA-15. Don't know. But dude, I've already shown you this is actually a .3 MOA gun with the right ammunition. Accessories, all the commonalities of the AR-15 platform, which is a good thing. You don't like the hoe grip, swap it out. You don't like the paddle, swap it out. Takes all that stuff. I wouldn't change much about the gun. I would put on a sling attachment here at the plate. That's about it. I might go with a different coloration. When we talk about accessories, there's several colors offered by Christensen Arms. We're talking snow camo, desert digital, desert shadow. Then you have the carbon graphite theme that you got going here. It's good looking. Whew, lots to say. Value. Oh, here we go. Getting real. Okay, competition-wise, there's a lot out there. If you say, hey, I'm going to go out and spend $3K on an AR-15, doesn't that kind of open up the whole field? Maybe you'd go look at the Bushmaster ORC, 6.6 pounds at 1,300 list. Barrett Rec 7, 7.6 pounds. It's heavier, 2,500 list. Rock River Arms LAR PDS, that's their piston gun, 7.4 pounds. They're all heavier. Not all, the ORC isn't. 1840 list. LWRC, I already showed you that one. Maybe you'd go for their SPR version. That's a sick gun. 7.4 pounds, 2,300 list. They're all less expensive than that CA-15, right? Robinson Arms XCR, 7.5 pounds, $1,500. I could go on and on. POF 415, 8.3 pounds, way heavier. I don't like POF generally. They're just so big and thick and bulky. Sorry. 2,200 list on that POF 415. Stag 15, 7 pounds. Ruger SR 556, enhanced model, the E model, 7.36 pounds. Lots of options. Would I go out and buy me a CA-15? I cannot lie. The answer is no, I would not. I just cannot spend that level of money on an AR. Not when I can go with something very high-end for a lot less. You know, maybe pick up a used LWRC that has a lot of life left in it. $1,700. That's what I'm saying. It is a very special AR, though. It's cool. It has a lot of second kind of cool. That is, it is special. If you're running 3-gun, you probably won't see a lot of guns running, or a lot of dudes running CA-15s out there. You might, I don't know. But I would think it'd be a rare thing on the range. It is special. You know, it'll attract attention. That second kind of cool, the Christensen Arms has it going on. It is a slick AR-15. The upsides are many. And we end with track record, and I'm talking track record in my testing. Again, I'm going to emphasize its smoothness. From the perfect trigger, and yes, I said perfect, that Timney trigger in this gun, for me, the way I shoot, what I like to do, perfect. This gun, in the sledgehammer drill, and I'm going to roll it in footage either somewhere in this video, got one of the highest scores ever in my hands, 56 points. And there's another one I haven't even tabulated. It might even be more. With this trigger, this gun at 200 yards, after running in 100-degree plus temperature, I hit 9 out of 10 at 200 yards. The only other gun I've done as good with is FN-17S. I hit 9 out of 10 with that, which was remarkable. But 9 out of 10 at 200 yards, we're talking a 10-inch plate, after running, tells me that the gun ergonomically is very squared away. Trigger has a lot to do with that. The overall smoothness has a lot to do with it. That NIB coated bolt carrier, it's special. Rockin' score in the sledgehammer, one of the highest ever with the record hold? I don't know. But the CA-15 Recon, yes, it is an expensive AR-15. No, I personally would not buy it, but there's a lot of guys out there that would, that have. My understanding is they're selling great. It's a cool AR-15. It looks cool. By the way, that Weaver SPR rail, if you didn't mention that, that's a good high-value rail, dudes. Go out and buy one. That's a 30mm rail. Love it. But yeah, $3K for an AR-15 is a bit much, but is extremely accurate, smooth, and probably most importantly, we're talking upsides, it's a heavy-barreled AR-15 that weighs under 7 pounds. Not too many of those out there. It's almost fully ambidextrous. It's handsome. It's cool looking. Very lightweight. There are some downsides. One is that it did jam with PMC ammo. I did have a couple failures, maybe a lot of failures to hold open last shot. You could put that on the mag. In this one, it's 1-9 twist 223. I would never get that chambering. Not for what I do. I'd go 223 wild or 5.56. Easy to do because when you order your CA-15 dudes, just tell them what caliber you want. They can do anything they want with that barrel. And by the way, they may use different inserts than whatever that other brand, McGallen. They might use a Schillen insert too, the match insert. Other downside, and this is significant, is it's expensive. Value is in the eye of the beholder, like I always said. CA-15 review, Nutnfancy style. That's all I gotta say. Thanks for joining me. See ya.